Hello and happy Tuesday, which is of course my book reviews day, and today I would like to talk to you about Nightflyers and Other Stories by George R. R. Martin. Not only am I going to talk about the short story collection, but I'm going to do a bit of a book comparison video as well, because, well, I've accumulated several editions of both the titular novella and the short story collections over the years. Man, I've got a bunch here. So I got 4 to show you. Let's dive in first to the illustrated paperback. This is illustrated by David Palumbo. This was done just a few years back. It was also available in a hardcover. I don't know if the hardcover had color illustrations by David Palumbo or if it was also black and white, but well, paperback's black and white. I picked this up directly from Beastly Books, so it is signed by George R. R. Martin, which is pretty exciting. This one only contains the novella Nightflyers. So Nightflyers originally began as a short story published back in 1980, but George R. R. Martin expanded it into the novella that it is today. It is a sci-fi horror novella in which a crew commissions the ship called the Nightflyer, which is piloted by the mysterious Royd Ares. He is a reclusive pilot, reclusive captain who only communicates via hologram. Well, this crew is on the search for this mysterious alien species called the Vulcan. And, well, let's just say that things don't quite go according to plan on the ship. Some people have compared it to Alien meets Psycho, or in this case, the psychological horror of The Shining. I think of it more as an Alien meets And Then There Were None, just because, well, let's just say that the crew members start turning up in unfortunate circumstances, and they're trying to get to the bottom of what is potentially killing the crewmates off one by one in the ship. I'm not going to lie. The overall atmosphere is phenomenal with Nightflyers. I loved it. The characters themselves were very bland. I mean, Royd Ares was the most interesting character. Most of the other characters are just kind of stock characters. George R. R. Martin once mentioned that a lot of them didn't even have names in the short story. I've not read the short story, just the novella version. The other primary main protagonist is Melantha here, who is the improved model, and man, she will tell you that she's the improved model in every single conversation that she has. I mean, she is probably the next most interesting character. I mean, she, is, well, a little more superhuman than human. She's always multiple steps ahead of the other people, including in the games of chess, which Palumbo did illustrate. Just a few illustrations in. I did glance over that right there. She's doing a chess game with good old Captain Royd. But it's a fun story. I enjoyed it. I will say I did not see the events turning out as they did. Some twists and turns that at least I didn't see coming. I thought it was done exceptionally well. David Palumbo's illustrations definitely add a little bit of atmosphere to this terror novella, and I think it's definitely worth a read. I mean, it's, like I said, his characters might not be as fleshed out or as well written as his characters will be a decade later with his works. I mean, even several decades later with his works. And like I said, this is 1980, 1981 George R. R. Martin. But, you can definitely see the author he would become with some of his later novels, particularly, The Song of Ice and Fire. But, still incredibly well done with Nightflyers itself. But, if you're looking for the illustrated edition, that's all you're going to get, the novella Nightflyers. But if you are looking for something a little bit more, there are various collections you can get. Now, the stories are the same in all of these collections. We'll start off with the newest version of it, which has this basis for the hit TV series Dust Jacket, or I should say cover art on it. This is one that I also picked up through Beastly Books, so it is also signed by George R. R. Martin. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the taller mass market editions. I'm not sure if you can really tell on the camera there, but Yeah, that text is going straight into that margin. Makes it a little more difficult to read. The next short story within the collection is Override. It deals with a corpse rider, a corpse driver who is commanding corpses to do manual labor as they search for some valuable stones. It's not really a horror short story, but it's the closest thing after Nightflyers to horror within this collection. It's done pretty well. It deals with a little bit of intrigue and mystery in a day on the job gone wrong. It's actually one that was written back in 1972, which is pretty amazing. Up next is Weekend in the War Zone. While I'm flipping through this, I'm going to now move on to this original Tor paperback back from 1987. Very yellowed from over the years, but hey, I found it for $2, so you can't beat that. Weekend in the War Zone is a decent short story. I mean, it's not really filled with any likable characters by any means, but it tells the story of an interesting weekend getaway. War is a thing of the past in this future. So some people spend their weekends golfing, some people spend their weekends, lounging about, or you can spend your weekends fighting in a pseudo-war. This is a war between organizations where you are paying to get a gun put in your hands and you're going to go fight combatants from another company. And this isn't some paintball battle. No, this is straight up you can get shot and killed in the battle. Like I said, the characters aren't very likable in it, but I don't think they're supposed to be, but it's decent. The next standout one here is And 7 Times Never Kill Man, which predates Star Wars, I will say that. This was published, I think, originally in 1974? Yep, October 1974. And yet it deals with what I can only describe as Ewoks. It deals with a colony, an alien planet in which small little Ewok-like creatures are just trying their best to live peacefully. But there's a religious sect of humans, or I guess it'd be post-humans in this post-Earth reality, who are there trying to spread the word of Bacalon, the Pale Child. They're going to use their religious fervor to just go ahead and slaughter as many of the native Ewok-like creatures as they can. It's the story of a human trader trying to rebel against that religious sect and those religious zealots and try to protect the natives of this land. It's a very good and very touching story. You really feel for the trader and his little group of rebels who want the best for him. This next version here is the UK edition from Harper Voyager. Harper Voyager? Yeah, Harper Voyager. It's an edition I actually picked up when I was in Ireland back, I guess, in 2018, because I was never able to get that sticker off. So, it's pretty decent. This was actually the good reading copy that I used for all of the other short stories, just because you have nice, decent-sized text and, not trying to read inside the margins like in the paperback editions. Next up is Nor the Many-Colored Fires of a Star Ring. It is a bunch of scientists on a fast-traveling star ring trying to get to the bottom of can they toy with the science and elements around them to add to the betterment of mankind. It's all right. It gets a little philosophical, and it kind of unfortunately sacrifices the story itself for that philosophy, but it wasn't bad. And then finally, last but certainly not least, is A Song for Laia, which is, I believe I said it earlier, a superb novella by George R. Martin. This was actually published, when was this published? 73, back in 73. It deals with two telepaths, one who can read thoughts, one who can read feelings. They are, in fact, a couple. That will actually come into play with the plot itself. They are sent to a colony to try and figure out why humans are converting to, let's just say a cult. The local religion of the natives, of the joined and the united, deal with allowing a parasitic goo to fuse to your skull, and it will make you joined with the other joined, and you live out your days with this parasitic creature on you as it feeds off you until finally you are united. You essentially sacrifice yourself to the creatures in a cave, and well, it seems like a strange martyrdom for religion, and so they are brought here. Rob and Laia are brought in to try to figure out what is going on. But once you actually scratch beneath the surface, you actually get some very, very touching philosophy and introspection on just humanity, on death, on the afterlife. It's just really well done, beautifully written by George R. R. Martin. I mean, I complained about, the characters were a little bit of stock characters in Nightflyers. That is not the case for The Song for Laia, which actually predates Nightflyers. You have very good fleshed out characters. You can tell he had a lot of heart in this. I was not surprised to learn that George R. R. Martin was inspired to write this off of a relationship he had at the time, especially because of the relationship between Laia and Rob. It is very touching and very well written. It strikes the heart. You can actually I know you can find Song for Laia and several other short stories, including Nightflyers, in the Dream Songs collections. Dream Songs was originally published as GRRM, a retrospective by Subterranean Press, and it collects a whole bunch of shorter fiction that Martin had done. I believe that includes Song for Laia. I know it includes Nightflyers, and I believe it includes 7 Times... Not Kill Man. I believe you would be losing out on Override and Weekend and the multi-fired Star Ring. But I mean, the 3 best pieces of these collections, in my opinion, were those kind of the bookend ones being Nightflyers and Song for Laia, and then 7 Times Not Kill Man right in the middle, which I believe, like I said, all 3 of those are available in the Dream Songs collection. I believe Dream Songs is now still available in paperback. It was split up into 2 paperbacks. You can get Volume 1 and Volume 2. I don't know where they fall between them. Or, like I said, you can find the Nightflyers and Other Stories collections out there. I believe Beastly Books is sold out of them. I don't know if they'll get more, but you can pick up plenty of other signed George R. R. Martin titles directly through Beastly Books, link in the description below, as well as signed books from a whole bunch of other authors as well that are carried on the site. I bought a whole ton of signed books many years back and, was incredibly impressed with how it was packaged. I mean, unfortunately, there was one that was poorly packaged. I actually did an unboxing video for that one, which was a Storm of Swords illustrated edition, but other than that, I've never had an issue with it. And a fun thing about Beastly Books, I don't know if it's still relevant or if it's still accurate, but it was 5 or 6 years ago. One of the people that worked there, who actually handled the fulfillment and handled the orders, was Shannon Zelazny, which might not mean anything by itself, but you might think, hey, that sounds like Roger Zelazny, and you would be right. Shannon Zelazny is Roger Zelazny's daughter. I don't know if she still works for Beastly Books, but I thought that was pretty cool that you have the legendary Roger Zelazny's daughter working at Beastly Books. They also carry some of Trent Zelazny's books. I haven't read any of Trent, that being Roger's son, but I picked up one that was signed by him, so, I'm excited to dive into that eventually. So anyways, Nightflyers is available in any bookstore you want, whether it be in the collection with the other stories or just by itself. I don't know if the illustrated edition is still in print, and like I said, I don't know if the hardcover does include full color illustrations by David Palumbo, but I mean, he does a solid job of adding to the atmosphere. So if you want just that novella by itself, I'd recommend checking out the illustrated edition. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. I have plenty of book unboxings on the channel, as well as at least one book review a week, so please consider subscribing to the channel, and we will see you around next time.